Hi viewers, welcome to another interesting tutorial of this interesting channel. In today's tutorial, we're interested in the 2024 ECZ examination for General Certificate of Education Ordinary Level, Additional Mathematics, Paper 2. And we shall be considering question number 11, which falls under the topic of calculus. So this is the exam that the external candidates wrote. This is the exam for the GCE candidates. So let's try to check where the question is. So we are going to be reviewing the question, which is number 11, falling under the topic of calculus. Let's try to check where question number 11 is. So here are the questions that they had. So let's try to check where question number 11 is. So here is question number 11. Here is question number 11. This is the question that we're interested in today's video tutorial. So now, what we're going to do is that we're going to go through this question. We're going to go through this question. So the question says that a cuboid has a total surface area of 180 square centimeters and is such that its height is 8 centimeters and its base is a square of side x centimeters. So that is the diagram that we have. We are given the diagram according to the statement there. So this question has three parts. It has part A, part B, and part C. Part A carries 3 marks, part B carries 3 marks, and then part C carries 4 marks. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to go through each and every part of this question. We're going to start with part A as it is. So part A says that show that the height 8 centimeters of the cuboid is given by h is equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x. And then B says express the volume of the cuboid in terms of x. And then C says hence determine as x varies in its maximum volume. So hence determine as x varies its maximum volume. So those are the questions. Those are the parts that we have. Those are the parts. So we're now going to the solvings. So let's try to get into the solving. So now, before we get into the solving, I am asking if you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. And as you're subscribing, don't forget to turn on the notification button so that you are notified when each and every video tutorial is uploaded on this YouTube channel. And then don't also forget to click the like button and to also comment so that we hear your views. And also don't forget to share so that others enjoy the tutorials of additional mathematics. So one reminder, this channel will help you obtain a distinction in additional mathematics, and not just any other distinction, but a distinction 1. So purely a distinction 1. So don't forget to follow this YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe so that you're updated with each and every video tutorial. So now let's try to get into the solving. Let's read the question once more. The question says a cuboid has a total surface area of 180 square centimeters and is such that its height is 8 centimeters and its base is a square of side x centimeters. So now we're going to start with part A. In our solving, we're going to start with part A. So let's try to read part A. Part A says that show that the height 8 centimeters of the cuboid is given by h is equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x. So, according to the question, they want us to make h the subject. H should be the subject such that h will equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x. Now, what are we going to do? According to the question, you have to identify what you are given. So, according to the question, you are given the total surface area. You are given the total surface area of the cuboid. So, the total surface area of the cuboid you are given as 180 square centimeters. So now, what you have to do upon you saying that, what you have to do now is that you have to know the formula of the total surface area of the cuboid. So let's get into the solving. So we're given 180 square centimeters. So the total surface area is equal to, so the total surface area of the cuboid, the way we deal with the total surface area of the cuboid, you have to identify each part which makes a cuboid. So a cuboid is made up of these two. So we have the square which is up, and then we also have the square which is down. So we have two squares, and then the square is found by the formula of a square is found by using the formula which is 2, the length, we have the length, and then we also have the length, but so you can say 2LL, but in this video tutorial we wrote it as 2L times B. But if you want, you can write it 2LL. And then another thing which makes up a cuboid, it is that side and also that side. So we have two sides. So that side, it is the formula that we use, that is a rectangle. It is L times B. It is length times breadth. It is length times breadth. That is the formula that we use. Now, according to this statement, we have two rectangles. We have two rectangles. So you're going to write L 2L times B. Again there, we also have that part which is there. We have two rectangles again. So we are also going to write 2L times B. So what you have to do now is that you have to identify the parts. Let's start with the first part. So the first part that we have x. So we are given in the statement, we are given that the base is a square. The base is a square. So if it is a cuboid, if the base is a square, it means that up there we also have the square. So in this case, we are going to have 2L times B, and then we have to identify those. So in this case, we have the x in a square. All sides are equal. So if that side is x centimeters, it means that that side is also x centimeters. So if that side is x centimeters, it means that also that side will be x centimeters. So therefore, we're going to have x and also have x there. So that those are the two that we are talking about. Let's now go to the second step. We have 2L times B. Let's try to identify that part. So that part, it is that rectangle that we have there. It is that rectangle that we have. So we're going to denote L with the letter H and then the breadth as X. and then there we also have that rectangle there. So we have the height. The height is equal on those sides. So we have 8 centimeters there, and then we also have 8 centimeters there. It is because that is a cuboid. The height will remain the same. So, and then the x, we already talked about it. So we're going to remain with 2. So we're going to remain with 2hx. We're going to write 2hx. Now let's try to simplify. So the first part, when you multiply x multiplied by x, it will be x squared. And then there, when you add 2hx plus 2hx, you're going to remain with 4hx. So that's how it will be, like that. So therefore the total surface area is equal to 2x squared plus 4hx. When you go back to the statement again, you find that we are already given the total surface area of this cuboid. So we are already given the total surface area of this cuboid as 180 square centimeters. So where there is TSA, or you can say where there is total surface area, you are going to substitute with 180, and then that will equal to 2x squared plus 4hx. So now, according to the statement, it is saying show that the height, h centimeters, of the cuboid is given by h is equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x. So now, what we have to do is that we have to make h the subject. Since according to the statement, they made h the subject, even as we have to make h the subject. So, when we make h the subject, in the process of making h the subject, it will be 4h. X is equal to 180 minus 2x squared. And then what we have to do is that since our main interest is to make h the subject, we have to divide both sides by 4x, since 4x is not needed on the left hand side. So those will cancel out, and then we are going to remain with h. So therefore h will be 180 minus 2x squared over 4x. Again, we have to look for a number which can go in 180, which can also go in negative 2x squared, and then which can also go in 4x. And then we found that number to be 2. So when you divide 4x by 2, you're going to remain with 2x. And then when you divide 180 with 2, you're going to remain with 90. And then when you divide by 2, you're simply going to remain with x. When you divide negative 2x squared with by 2, you're simply going to remain with x squared. So that's how it will be. So therefore h is equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x. You even say therefore therefore h is equal to 90 minus x squared over 2x, hence proven. So this is how you're supposed to answer in an exam room. This is how you score marks in an exam room. So we are now done with part A. Let's go to part B. Let's now go to part B. Part B says express the volume of the cuboid in terms of x. So let's try to answer that part. So volume. You have for you to answer this question, you have to know the formula that we use in volume. So the formula that we use in volume of the cuboid is volume is equal to cross section area. So as long as it is a prism, it can be a cylinder, it can be a cuboid, it can be a cube, or it can be whatever. As long as it is a prism, we use the formula which is cross section area times length. So this is the formula that we use, cross section area times the length. So for you to know for you to know this process, what you have to know and what you have to keep in mind is that by cross section area, what we mean is that you have to select one side. You have to select one side of the prism, one part of the prism. So in this case, you can select the base which is a square, or you can select the rectangle which is on the left, or you can select the rectangle which is on the left, on the right, or any part. You can select any cross section area of any shape in the cuboid, but in this video tutorial we selected the square base. So in this video tutorial we selected the square base of the cuboid. So the square base of the cuboid is found by using the formula which is L times L, and then L times L we're going to replace with x times x, and then the length we denoted it as h. So when you do the simplification, you're going to have x squared and then h. So volume is found, according to this question, volume is equal to x squared h. Now what you have to keep in mind is that we already have what h equals. So when you look at the question says that express the volume of the cuboid in terms of x. So it means that the volume should have the x variables. It should not have the h as it is, because they have specified that in terms of x. So it should have x, not h. So where there is h, we have to replace with 90 minus x squared over 2x, like that. After that, let's try to simplify. So in that case, x squared divided by x, it is x. You are simply going to remain with x, and then 2x divided by x, you are simply going to remain with 2. So upon you writing that, you are going to remain with when you multiply x multiplied by 90, it will be 90x, and then when you multiply again there, you are going to remain with x cubed over 2, like that. So that is what the volume equals to. So V is equal to 90x minus x cubed over 2. So therefore V is equal to 90x minus x cubed over 2, like that. That is how you score marks in an exam room. This is how you're supposed to answer in an exam room. So now let's now go to C. So in case you're behind somewhere, you can write in the comment section your concern. So let's now go to C. C says, hence determine as x varies its maximum volume. Hence determine as x varies its maximum volume. So So it says determine the maximum volume. So maximum volume as x varies. So the maximum volume as x varies, its maximum volume as x varies. So now we already found v. So we found v as v is equal to 90x. So we found v as 90x minus x cubed over 2, like that. And then after this, we are going to make it simple. We are going to make it simple by doing something like that. So it will be 90x over 2 minus x cubed over 2, like that. So now what we have to do now, the next step that we have to take is to differentiate. We have to differentiate this equation. So we are going to differentiate v volume with respect to x. So it will be dv dx. So when you are differentiating, we already know how to differentiate. So when you differentiate, we are going to multiply the power there by those by the coefficient of x. So it will be 1 multiplied by, so there 90 divided by 2, it is 45. So it will be 45 minus, again there, when you multiply the power with when you multiply the power by the coefficient of x, it will be negative 3x, and then when you subtract a 1 from the power, it will be 2. So it will be like that over 2. So when you differentiate, that's what you're supposed to be given. So after you differentiate, our main interest is to find the value of x. So what we have to do now, upon you differentiating, we have to equal that to 0. We're going to equal that to 0, and then we're going to make it simple. We're going to make it simple by multiplying each term by 2. We're going to multiply each term by 2. So when you multiply 45 multiplied by 2, we're going to have 90. And then there, when you multiply 3 over 2 multiplied by 2, we are going to have 3x squared is equal to 0. So 0 multiplied by 2, it is 0. So our main interest is to find the value of x. Our main interest is to find the value of x. X squared. So in this case, it will be x squared is equal to 90. So there you can divide 3 on both sides. So when you divide 3 by 3, it will simply cancel out, and then you are simply going to remain with x squared. And then when you divide 90 by 3, you are simply going to remain with 30. So therefore x squared is equal to 30. So now our main interest is to make x the subject, is to find the value of x. So now what we have to do is that we have to square root both sides. So when you square root x squared, we're going to remain with x. And then when you square root 30, you are going to get a value of 5.477257 like that. And then in this case, what we are going to do is that we are going to round it off. So where there is x in that expression of v, we have to replace with that value of x. So where there is x, so the expression was like v is equal to 90 x minus x cubed over 2. So now upon you writing something like that, what you have to do is that you have to replace where there is x with that value of x which we found. So in this case, we even round it off. So it will be v is equal to 90 open brackets 5.477 and then minus 5.477 cubed like that over 2. So when you use a calculator or whichever way, you're going to get a value of 163.3. Volume should be cubed, so it should be squares, cubic centimeters. So the volume, so when you use a calculator or whichever way, you're going to get the value of 163.3. So now the way you represent your answer, it should be cubic centimeters. It should be cubic centimeters. So therefore the maximum volume is equal to 163.3 cubic centimeters. So this is how you're supposed to answer in an exam room. This is how you score marks in an exam room. I hope you haven't forgotten to subscribe, and then to turn on the notification button, to like, to share, and to comment. So don't forget to do that. This channel is there for you. This channel is there for you to help you to obtain a distinction in additional mathematics. Thank you for watching. See you to another video tutorial.